Assalamu alaikum. This is the lecturer Muhammad Jalal from Communication Skills course. Today we'll start Unit 2 and the first lesson of Unit 2. Okay, dear. Now, the title of Unit 2 is Academic Life. We are going to learn some important things about listening skills, speaking skills, and vocabulary development. In the listening skills, we will learn how to predict. Predicting means to know something that will happen. You don't know about it now, but you are predicting. I expect something. For example, I see dark clouds and I predict it will rain or it's going to rain. The second part of the listening is asking questions, WH questions and yes no questions, and finally giving a summary. In the speaking skills, we will find more and speak for longer, which means we will not answer only short answers. No, we will give some examples, more explanations, and these things. And finally, in the speaking, we will learn how to ask also W and yes no questions. In the vocabulary, we are going to learn how to organize the vocabs into subgroups. Now, if you look at the picture on the right, what do you see? You will tell me a building, trees, some people are moving, and maybe some of you will answer it says school or a college. Once they find the words below the picture, do you see them? Students in Seoul, South Korea. Yes. So from the title of the picture here, you tell me that it's a school. School, of course, in the West means college or university sometimes, because here we have adults. So, students in Seoul, in South Korea. From the picture and from the title, you predict. Now, what are we going to talk now about? We are going to talk about something related to school, to Korea maybe, right? Look at the left. Listening, academic routines. Here are some important things in college life. How important is each one in your opinion? Decide between very important, important, or not very important. Now we have one group work. My question to you, do you think that working in groups or group work in the academic life, is it very important or is it important or not important? If you tell me it's very important, you have to tell me why. So you can say, for example, yes, group work is very important in college life because students learn how to share information and how to help each other. So it's very important. Number two, assessment. Assessment is something like quiz or exam. Do you think that assessments are very important in college life? If you say very important, you have to tell me why. Important, why? Not important, why? Some people say it's not important. Why? Tell me why it's not important. So you may say, I think it's a kind of stressing students and a kind of memorizing. Students will memorize something and put it in the paper. It's not learning. Maybe your opinion. Others will say, no, it's very important because it helps us to study step by step. And then we have number three, independent work, how to work alone, tutorials, when you have got your teacher or your lecturer to help you in explaining something. Your free time, is it important or not important in college life? You say, yes, it's important, for example, because it helps me to refresh myself and come back to the class strongly. Seminars, like workshops. So what I want you to do now or later, just to look at these 5 or 6 words and think about them to decide, are they very important, important or not important? Maybe in the speaking exam, I will ask you, do you think that free time is important in academic life? So you have to explain to me. So try to prepare something in your mind for the future. Okay, now here we have a simple exercise. Exercise number 4. Listen and answer the questions. We have here 3 questions. What is the tutor's name? How many students are in class today? In a seminar, who can speak? Listen now.
2.1. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the seminar. I'm Jenny Porter. I'm your tutor for the business course. I think I remember all 6 of you from the interviews. Kaoru, Ahmed, Arzu, David, Jane, right? Yes. Maha's starting tomorrow. Now, in a seminar, the idea is that we discuss things together. Don't be shy. Speak up. I want everyone to feel comfortable and relaxed.
I want you to listen again.
2.1. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the seminar. I'm Jenny Porter. I'm your tutor for the business course. I think I remember all 6 of you from the interviews. Kaoru, Ahmed, Arzu, David, Jane, right? Yes. Maha's starting tomorrow. Now, in a seminar, the idea is that we discuss things together. Don't be shy. Speak up. I want everyone to feel comfortable and relaxed.
Okay, now what is the tutor's name? I think she said at the beginning, my name is Jenny Porter, right? So here the speaker didn't give us the spelling, the letters, right? So you can write Jenny as you want. J-E-N-Y, J-E-N-N-Y, okay? J-I-N-Y. So you can write it in different ways. Jenny Porter. Question number 2. How many students are in class today? If you look at the question here, you have to be careful in your answer. Now she gave different names, right? But the word today is important in the question because she wants only the student's number in the class today. So in the class, she has 6 students, but today only 5 students are in the class. One of them is not here, will come tomorrow. So the answer of number 2 is 5. Number 3, in a seminar, who can speak? As she said, everyone can speak. Now let's look about the study skills. Predicting. As I said, predicting means to know something or expect something from the future that's going to happen. To help you to understand a listening text, try to predict what it is about before you listen. To help you predict, what you have to do? 2 points. 1, look at the title and the pictures. As what we did in slide 1, the title was Academic Routines and the picture of a school in South Korea. So what are we going to talk about? Are we going to talk about cars? Of course not. We are going to talk about academic life. So from the pictures, the titles, you will try to know what is the topic of that. Number 2, think about what you already know about the topic. Before you start listening, think school, academic life, okay, what do I know? Try to recall, memorize, or remember the words you know about academic life. School, tutor, exam, assessments, assignments, projects, buildings, cafeteria. So try to remember these words. They will help you to answer quickly. Now, in exercise number 5, we will practice this. Work with a partner, read some questions which students will ask, and predict the tutor's answer. We have three questions. How are we assessed? Assessed from assessments like exam, evaluation. For example, if I ask you in communication skills, how many exams do we have in this semesters? You will say maybe 4. What are these exams? So you will say we have quiz 1, we have speaking, we have midterm, we have presentation. So here are your answers. This is what you know about this course. But if I ask you next semester, you will get English academic or English for academic purposes. How are you assessed? So think about the course. What is the teacher going to evaluate you in? When you think about these things, you will try to get some answers. So, in number 1, how are we assessed? We will write maybe quiz, exam, presentation. Okay? Number 2, when do we do independent work? Independent work, which means working alone. In the college, do you have time to work independently? Of course, yes. Think about that. When? Time. Can you work independent in class, in the cafeteria, in the exam, in the presentation? Number 3, when do we have free time? In the college. Do you study all the time? Of course not. So do you have free time? Yes. Do you go to cafeteria? Yes. When? So according to your schedule, you know how to go, or when do you go to the or you have free time. Now let's listen and write now the answers to see, did we predict the same answers of what we are going to hear now? Listen please.
2.2. I have a question. How are we assessed? Is it all exams? No, Kaoru. There are many different ways that we assess you. Assignments, tests, projects, essays, and exams too. So it's continuous assessment. Okay, thank you.
When do we do independent work? Don't we have classes or lectures most of the time?
No, Ahmed. You only have 10 hours of lectures every week and 1 seminar every week. The rest of the time you can do independent work.
When do we have free time? Will we be working all the time?
No, don't worry, David. It's not all work. You need to learn time management. This means planning your time well so you can do all your work and have some time off.
Thank you.
Listen again please.
2.2.
I have a question. How are we assessed? Is it all exams? No, Kaoru. There are many different ways that we assess you. Assignments, tests, projects, essays, and exams too. So it's continuous assessment. Okay, thank you.
When do we do independent work? Don't we have classes or lectures most of the time?
No, Ahmed. You only have 10 hours of lectures every week and 1 seminar every week. The rest of the time you can do independent work.
When do we have free time? Will we be working all the time?
No, don't worry, David. It's not all work. You need to learn time management. This means planning your time well so you can do all your work and have some time off.
Thank you.
Okay, now let's go to question number 1. How are we assessed? The teacher said here some answers in many different ways: assignments, tests, projects, exams. So I think we have the same answers. We predicted that and we got the same answers. Number 2, the lecturer said, at any time when you are not in the lecture. So in the lecture, you don't work independently, but outside, you work independently, maybe in the cafeteria, in the library, in the labs. Number 3, She didn't give direct answer, but she told the student that you have to learn time management, which means you have to learn how to manage your time. So you say, I have here a lecture, then I will go to the library, I have break, I have do this. So make a plan, manage your time, so you will get free time. If you don't do that, you will be lost and you don't have any time anymore. Okay, now we have another exercise, number 7. Listen to 3 more questions that students ask. Make notes on the tutor's responses. Now we want to predict. Question number 1. Do we have to buy any books? What is the answer of this book? What do you expect? Do we have many answers? No. Because here the question is, or starts with, do we have, which means the answer is yes or no. I say, do you like pizza? Yes, I do. No, I don't, right? You can't put anything else. So, right here, yes and no. So you will not think more when you are listening, just to want to confirm here, yes or no. Number 2, who do I ask if I need help with my independent work? You are doing something alone in the college. Who do you ask if you need help? Maybe friend, teacher, librarian, a person from the street, in the market shop. Many people you can write. Number 3, when do we work in a group? When we work in a group, can we choose who we work with? Now, if you look at the first word here, when, you think that he is asked about time, but here he is not asking. When we work in a group, which means at the time of we working in a group, what is the question? Can we choose who we work with? So the question starts with can. Can we work? The answer is yes or no. To know the answers, let's listen to the speaker and find these answers.
2.3.
Any more questions?
Yes. Do we have to buy any books?
Yes, you have to buy some business textbooks. I'll give you a list in a minute. Yes, Arzu.
Who do I ask if I need help with my independent work?
When you're studying, you can help each other, and you can ask the librarian for help with research. You can also speak to me every week in the seminar.
When we work in a group, can we choose who we work with?
Yes, sometimes you can choose, but we also expect you to work with different people, just like in the real business world. Okay, now here's your book list.
So here, from the first question, do we have to buy any books? She said, yes, sometimes business books. So the answer, yes. So you can circle yes. Number 2, yes, you can ask some people for help. You can ask other students, tutors, librarians, and anyone you want. Number 3, also she answered yes. You can choose who you work with. So here in this exercise, we notice that we have some yes-no questions. And in exercise 5 before, we learned how to answer questions that start with WH question. So if the question starts with WH question, you have to give me information. But if you ask question, yes, no, start with do, does, is, am, are, was, where, you will answer or give me yes, no question. Or yes, no answer, sorry. Okay, now we have this question. 2.4, listen and write down the questions. You will hear 4 questions. Please write them down now. Listen, then write.
2.4. 1. When do we start the project? 2. What time do we have exams?
Where do we get our grades?
I hope that you got the answers. Number one, when do we start the project? When do we start the project? Now the question here is when, ask about time. So you can say we start the project at 7 o'clock on Monday. Okay? Question number two, what time do we come to class? What time do we come to class? So here again we are asked about the timing of the class. So you can say we come to class at 5 o'clock. Question number three, how often do we have exams? How often do we have exams? How often means that I'm asking about the number of repeated times. So you say 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 1 time. Then give me a period. For example, again, question number 3, how often do we have exams? We have 3 exams in the semester. So how often? You answer 3 in a semester. Number 4, maybe it was difficult to be heard. Number 4, where do we get our grades? The speaker said, where do we get our grades? Where do we get our grades? Where, which means where. Where do we get our grades, the marks? So you can say we get our grades from the online system, from the registration, from the teacher. You have many answers. So maybe also in the speaking exam, I will ask you this question. I will ask you, when do we start our project? So you tell me the answer. Okay, and finally now we have this new skill, how to give a summary. For example, if you go to the cinema to watch a movie, and I ask you, what is the summary of the movie? Tell me about the movie. Are you going to tell me every sentence you heard from the author or from the actors? Of course not. You will give me a summary. So you will say it about this person who traveled from this country to this country, for example, to fight and save his mother. Okay? This is the summary. Short information. The main idea of the topic. Like what we say, the gist. As we said, the general idea or the gist of the topic. So, let's read here this box, giving a summary. We often give a summary of something we listen to. To give an effective summary, a good summary, you should 1. Decide on the most important points. Don't care about details, only most important points. 2. Think about the speaker's opinion of the subject. Does he agree or disagree this point? And 3. Keep the summary short and simple. Don't make it very long. It will be boring. It will be a paragraph, something like that. But here you have to make it simple, clear, short. This exercise, we have 2 girls, Caro and Maha. Question 11. Listen to Caro giving Maha a summary of the seminar. Caro attended a seminar and she wants to give Maha a summary. Tick the things that Caro mentions. Here we have assessment, college website, number of lectures, planning time, books, independent work. Listen now.
2.5.
So, what did Jenny say?
She talked about the business course. There are many kinds of assessments, such as projects and assignments, and we have them all through the course. We should check the college website.
to find out what we have to do. We have 10 lectures and a seminar every week. The rest of the time, we work independently. We need to plan our time so that we can do everything and still have some free time. She called it time management. And we need to buy some books. Here's the book list.
Thanks, Kaoru. That's very helpful.
So, if you see here, she talked about all these things. Assessment, college website, number of lectures, planning time, books, independent work. Now the lecture Kaoru attended maybe took 2 hours from her. But now in less than a minute, she gave the summary. Only the main points. So when you give the summary, make it simple, short, and only focus on the main points. This is the end of our lecture. Thank you so much.